Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Wholesale with Joe. I'm your host, Devin Hager. I'm really excited to go over this deal breakdown. This is a really good deal that I did that required some pivoting and some direction and guidance on figuring it out. So there's a lot of things that I'm going to discuss that turn this deal from what was going to be a $2,500 wholesale fee to a $28,000 profit. And so I'm going to talk about how, first and foremost, how Joe Homebuyer helped me, how we used the Joe process and system to figure out how to best structure this deal and to take it across the finish line. And and yeah, like I said, how I turned basically made an additional $26,000 on this deal. And in this business, like, look, $2,500 in the beginning is great. But if you're trying to make this consistent, it's really hard to scale and build a business off $2,500. So I was able to turn it into a much bigger profit and get a deal done. And it was a mobile home. So a lot of wholesalers, from what I see, they avoid mobile homes. And for me, it's like I see a lot of opportunities with them. I've made money on mobile homes, and both for my business, working for other people, and particularly when it's on land. So this is a cool deal we're going to break down. So I'm going to share my screen and just show you this property real quick. So we're in Okeechobee, so way north Okeechobee, and we get this property. It's on an acre. It's a mobile home. It's about 1,600 square feet, three bed, two bath. And how I got this lead was from cold calling. So I had a seller that had a few rental properties. Guy done really well for himself and just collected some rentals over the years. And he was getting to an age and phase where he was looking to liquidate. So he was a tough cookie. He was not really negotiable on price. So we tied it up for about $110,000, and we sent it out to our buyers list. We didn't get any hits, and then I was able to get an offer, and I got an offer for 105,000. So I'm like, okay, so let me see if I can go back at the time. Let me see if I can go back and renegotiate and see if I can get a deal done for $100,000. And the the seller said, Devin, I'm not selling it for less than, like, I'll do 102,500, but I'm not going a penny less. So this guy, it was an income producing property. The tenants were about to move out, but he could throw a couple $1,000 in it to clean it up and re-rent it. And so he wasn't really motivated to sell much more at a discount. But I feel like there was an opportunity there. So I had a decision to make. Okay, so do I make a $2,500 assignment or and just move on, or maybe I should look into potentially flipping it. So let me go over the numbers. So there's two important steps that I took on this deal, and that was, I need to make sure I know somebody that knows that market in that area, because I'd only done a couple deals in that area, in that particular area, but I was wholesaling them. So I didn't really need help from a market analysis. I could run my own comps. But when you're considering buying it yourself, you want to make sure you have the right people in place. So I got to give a shout out to Dan Toback. He's a local wholesaler in the St. Lucie area, and those guys kill it. They've got offices, I believe, in San Diego. His brother's got an office in San Diego, Todd, and so they're just big time wholesalers. So I use their Facebook group page to say, hey, I'm looking to get some help on a property I'm working on in Okeechobee County. Does anybody have any advice? And Dan texted me and said, hey, you got to call this realtor named Lori. She's the best realtor out in the area, and she'll help you. So I give Lori a call, and this lady's on fire. She started in real estate in her 60s, and she's now in her 70s, and she's killing it. She's got a brokerage, she's got agents, and she's doing dozens of transactions a month. And the coolest lady I've ever met. And she was abundant minded. Like, she's like, yeah, Devin, I'd love to help you. And I just needed a good relationship out there, because if I was going to take down this property and flip it, or if I got other wholesale deals out there, and now I have a relationship that I can leverage to maximize opportunity. So it's so important in your wholesaling business that you maximize relationships. And I talk about this in a lot of my other videos. If you're not maximizing relationships with other wholesalers, with realtors, with other investors, you're missing out on tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars, if this is what you're going to be doing for your business. So that's something I've really tried to get really good at. And my mentors have taught me well with that. It's like, you got to have good relationships. So I sit down with Lori and over the phone, we're chatting. So she looks at the numbers. It's like, Devin, I think this property, I think you could probably sell it for around 150 to $160,000 on the market. So because what you're going to have happen is like, you may get higher offers, but the problem is that it may not appraise, especially with it being a mobile home. So I said, okay, perfect. So the next step, I'm like, I got to talk to somebody to discuss risk. So I run the numbers myself. So I'm like, okay, with it maybe needs like 5 grand repair. Like I think $2,500 is what we guesstimate because just need some cleanup after we did an inspection on it. So and after Lori looked at the numbers in the property, so it's like if I sell it for 160, I'm going to times that by 0.92. So typically, to be conservative, I'm going to take off 8% of the total value of the property when I sell it for closing costs and commissions. So I have to pay both sides of closing when I buy it, just like a buyer would if you're wholesaling it to somebody, and then I have to pay my side of closing when I go to sell it, and then obviously the real estate commission. So usually 8%. So that's going to be 147,000, and then minus $2,500. Start over. So 160 times 0.92 minus 47, and then minus the $2,500 repairs, 144, then minus my holding costs, which are going to be around $4,000 for this property, roughly. And it's 140,000 and minus the 102,500. So like I said, this is in a pretty remote area. And so I'm like, man, so looking at the numbers, it looks like $38,000 profit off a $102,500 purchase price looks great. So and for some unknowns and franchise fees and things like that, I could still profit. It's way better than a $2,500 wholesale fee. So I go and sit down with my mentor, Mark Stubler, the owner of Joe Homebuyer, and we discuss the property. He looks at the pictures with me. He's like, Devin, I really think you should do this property and take it down. And mind you, this is my first actual flip. I hadn't bought a property yet. So, and to buy a mobile home for me is like, it was kind of risky because you don't know what's going to happen. So I make the jump. I said, okay, I'm going to buy it. So I purchased it with my own cash, with my own private equity or my home equity line of credit that I have. And I'm like, hey, let's take this thing down and see what we can do. So we buy the property and we go to do the repairs. Everything's looking good. And a week later, Lori puts it on the market, and that lady's amazing. Like she got me 4 offers in the first day. So, we ended up getting an offer for like, I believe it was our 165. So I was like, man, this is great. So we went under contract within 12 hours of listing it. So I'm stoked. And she's like, Devin, I could probably get more for you offer wise, but it may not appraise. So that's something you have to factor in. So I said, okay, so let's take that offer, 165. It's a VA loan. And VA loans were popular at the time because that's right after interest rates started peaking. But I liked our price point because that was when interest rates were really high, but properties available under $200,000 were very slim, even in a remote location like this. So, like, perfect, this is gonna be great. So we go under contract, make the $2,500 repairs, and then the appraisal goes out and does his thing. And there's two things. We have to spend around $1,000 for tie downs for the mobile home. There wasn't tie downs, and for this thing to appraise and pass inspection, we need tie downs. And then the appraiser's like, the roof needs to be replaced. So there have been no signs of leaks or anything like that have been patchwork, but the roof is old. And for insurance purposes in Florida, it was a liability. And I get a bid back, and I'm like, the best price I can get on a roof is around $15,000. Like, crap. So yeah, it was a hit for sure. So I'm like, okay, so my rehab went from $2,500 to now around $17,000. So I'm like, oh crap, this stinks. Okay, so okay, so here, let's do it. So we were actually able to get a price increase because of the situation. So we ended up getting the seller to come up to 170 for the price because we had some wiggle room from the appraisal. So we can obviously maximize profit. And the buyer really wanted the property. So, and then obviously like we had to pay for roofs. So this is what's so great about the relationship though. Like I didn't want to fork out $15,000. So Lori, the realtor, freaking amazing. She was able to get us a roofer that she had a relationship with that was going to replace the roof, and he was not going to charge me until closing, which is unheard of. So she gets me set up with this amazing roofer. They go out and they put a new metal roof on the property, and I don't have to write a check. He's just going to get paid at closing. And one of the other delays that we had, so that was a huge win. That was great. So like I said, this that relationship was everything. One of the other crazy things that happened is that we had a hurricane come through. So that was a hurricane a couple years ago that came through, and it got really close to this property, like within probably 30 or 40 miles, and the winds were really bad. So that was another thing. Like we didn't know what the property looked like. Everybody's staying inside. So how crap is my mobile home going to be gone? Because there was like heavy winds coming through. And it's in the center of the state. So it was definitely lower risk than obviously being on the coast because the coast just got hammered. But it was making me nervous. I'm like, oh, crap, is this thing going to be gone? Because I was only able to get insurance for the value of the land because it's a mobile home, and usually mobile homes are depreciating assets. So I'm like, okay, so this is crazy. So cross fingers, hopefully it all works out. Fortunately, after that, there was just some branches and things like that that blew on the property, but the property's in good shape. Everything was okay. And we had multiple delays in closing because of lender issues and proof of income with the buyer, but ultimately it worked out. And like I said, our total profit on that deal was right around $28,000, just 28,000 and change, with the closing costs, commissions, repairs, and things like that. And it ended up being a huge win. So honestly, the two things I want you to note from this video is how important it is that you have relationships, you have mentors, and you have people that you can lean on to make your best decisions. Because look, I've made decisions where I didn't seek advice and I didn't seek counsel from those who knew better than me. And sometimes it worked out, but most of the time it usually doesn't. So it's so important to trust and verify, and then with yourself, but then get another few people that you trust in whatever industry you're in. Like I said, this podcast is all about wholesaling real estate, buying real estate, flipping, and like I said, from listening to my mentors, from taking the chance, taking the risk, but having the right people in place to help me, I was able to turn $2,500 into $28,000 from those relationships. And look, and that's why I chose Joe Homebuyer. Um, I I'm not the most talented guy out there. Like I'm not like a guru in money, negotiating or anything else like that. But one of the things that I do pride myself in is that I'm not afraid to be wrong and I'm not afraid to get advice. And most importantly, I'm not afraid to use the advice that I get and apply it and do it. So it was an incredible experience for me to take that chance and to take this property. And like I said, that's the difference in your deals. Like I went over numbers with Mark before, and we went over like if I did 40 wholesale deals and I increased profitability by $5,000 on every single deal, that's an additional $200,000 in your business just right there. So it's so important that you always look for opportunities in every single deal you do to maximize profit. So if you're wholesaling the deal, make sure that the buyer you're selling to, ask them, is that your highest and best? Is that the best you can do? Just like you on negotiating, like get a little bit better negotiating, get it for a little bit cheaper, and then making sure you market the property and have a solid buyer's list to maximize profit when you sell it. So you turn a $15,000 wholesale fee into a $25,000 wholesale fee. And so just really try to make those incremental changes like I'm trying to do in my business to maximize profit. So like I said, I'm really grateful for this deal, really grateful for this example. I love mobile homes. I'm buying another one right now. I'm excited to do a deal breakdown on that one. when we go to, we're going to buy it here in the next few days and then we're going to sell it. So excited to have updates for you on that one. I just did a video that I posted about a flip we're doing that I'm really excited about. So yeah, I hope this video gives you the tools and tips you need. So seek out those relationships and apply the principles and tools you're learning from this video and the people that you're being mentored through, and you will be successful in this business. So I appreciate you joining another episode with Wholesale with Joe. Again, I'm your host, Devin Hager. Please like and subscribe. I'm going to keep posting content, making sure you have everything you need to be successful in your business. So I wish you luck. Thank you.